Can I hit a tech time out real quick? So wait, I just thought about like, so do I? Well, I want to talk about today is just the PhD program and what it takes to get through this program. I remember when I first started, Dr. Steele shared with me a great bit of wisdom that has really stuck with me through this program. And she reached into her pocket and she pulled out a little glass pebble. And she said to us, you know, when you first start this process, you're kind of like a rough rock. And through the process of the program, God knocks off the rough edges and you become smooth and shiny like that stone. And then that really just stuck with me. And through this PhD process, you're going to be tested and you're going to be tried in some ways. You're going to find out some things about yourself. And God is going to really do a process in your life of forming you and shaping you into who He wants you to be. But it's not a quick overnight process. I remember when I first got into the PhD program, I was so excited. And I went to Dr. Riley and I said, Dr. Riley, I'm in the PhD program and I've got my running shoes on and I'm ready to go. He said, well, take those running shoes off and get your walking shoes because it's a long road. And I get what he's saying. And so what I really want to share with you as a new student coming into the PhD program is what does it look like to walk that long road, to wear those walking shoes, to allow God to knock off those rough edges. And so one of the things that's been big to me through this program is staying focused on why God called me here and keeping reminders of what God is doing in my life and where He's taking me to. And so some of this is going to sound really strange, but these are the things I did to keep me motivated through this process. One of those things, obviously, as us as believers, is prayer. Constant prayer and seeking God, seeking Him daily. And when I feel like I've been emptied out, allowing God to fill me and walk me through the process and reminding me of why He called me to be here. You know, the studies are great and the intellectual rigor is great, but it's why am I doing it? What is He doing in me? What am I supposed to give to His kingdom? And so through that is constant prayer. Also from that is building a community of support. My wife, Nicola, has been my #1 cheerleader. She's always stuck with me. She's encouraged me through it. When I allow doubt to set in, she encourages me. My daughters are a part of this. You know, they study with me. They've scribbled on some of my PhD books. I've had to reprint some papers, but they're a part of my community of support. But also where I work in Washington-Madison Baptist Association, being way in Arkansas, I've had the privilege of being on campus and doing this and being a part of the NOBTS family and community on campus. And that was awesome because everyone supported me. But even in Arkansas, being in that Baptist Association, I just let those pastors know who I am and what I've been called to do. And they've just really surrounded me in prayer and encouraged me every step of the way. Even when I came for orals, they were praying for me. Another thing that I like to do is build, besides prayer and building that community of support, I like reminders. I'm an old military guy. We like pomp and circumstance. We like visual cues that remind us of what we do and why we're called to do what we do for our country. Well, one of the things I do after every seminar, after every accomplishment, I walk down to Lifeway bookstore where that doctoral robe is hanging and I look at it because I picture one day that I'll be wearing that robe after I've walked this long journey. So that might sound a little quirky to you, but that's one of the things that helps motivate me. I keep that glass pebble that Dr. Steele had. I got one like it, and I remind myself that God's knocking off my rough edges. Another simple thing I do, I have like what I call my dissertation motivation music. I play pomp and circumstance over and over again while I'm writing papers, just imagining what it's going to sound like on that graduation day when they cue up that organ. And it's that final day, and I get to take that walk, just confirming it is finished. Another thing I do, when I was on campus, I would go to graduation every semester. It's just really great to celebrate with other believers what God is doing in their lives, but also just keeping that reminder in my life that we all, as we come through this NOBTS family, we're going out into the mission field to serve. And so seeing that over and over again. But even though you say, well, I'm not on campus, James, many of us as PhD students, we are going to be off campus. I watch it over and over again on YouTube. I can't tell you how many times I have watched the spring graduation of 2013 as I was preparing for oral exams. But that just really keeps me motivated, and it helps that Dr. Kelly preached on Psalms 103 at that chapel service. But those are just some of the things that I've done, and I want to encourage you, when you come into this program, put on your walking shoes, know God is going to knock off some rough edges, and it's a long process. But just like the children of Israel, as they went through different journeys in their life, they would erect altars and reminders of who God is and what He's done in their life. And that's supposed to keep them focused on the God that called them. And it's the same thing you're going to have to do through this process. Because some days it's going to feel lonely when you're up in the middle of the night studying. But God is always faithful, and He's always with you, and He'll get you through this program. Thank you.